Hi and welcome to the How I Did It series for my solo cruise to the Mexico Riviera with Norwegian Cruise Lines on the Norwegian Bliss. In this video I break down what it was like spending 7 days on the Norwegian Bliss as an introvert. Before we get into it, if you want more positive videos about stories and relating my travel adventures so you can do them too, then don't hesitate to press the subscribe button and click the bell icon so we can make life a story worth telling together. When looking at options for solo cruising on the internet, it's easy to form the opinion that everyone going solo is absolutely obsessed with meeting new people. I mean, that is sort of understandable. But all you get on the cruise forums are people obsessing over finding people to eat with and socialise with. The obsession even extends to finding people to connect with before they're bored. The fear of being alone for some is obviously palpable. But if you're an introvert, that's the last thing you want. It put me off for a while. I had to really think about whether a solo cruise was the right thing, and I reverted to my usual analogy. Would I go on an all-inclusive resort and spend the week relaxing, reading and writing? Pretty much I would. That sounds absolutely fantastic. So I needed a cruise that felt like that. I chose Norwegian Cruise Lines because all the socialise or die brigade on the internet seemed to hate it. For every con they angrily typed, I found something to put into my pro column. I'm not saying Norwegian Cruise Lines is the only offering perfect for introverts, but from my experience, it's certainly one of them. And that's on a ship as large as the Norwegian Bliss, which has some 4,000 people on it, which is pretty impressive. What I like about Norwegian Cruise Lines is they have a culture of independence, largely through their freestyle dining. And I do believe this sets the tone for the rest of the experience. You don't get the throw people together with a social jamboree sort of feel. It's more one of a personalised experience. The Norwegian Bliss did just feel like a very well-appointed, all-inclusive resort that just happened to float. This was right down to the various restaurants being private tables affairs. I ate at specialty restaurants 3 times, and each time it was brilliant. All the tables were for singles, couples or small family groups, just like in any other restaurant. And it does set the tone. I was left to mind your own devices all week. No insistent intrusion into my personal space by crew or guests. I did have numerous great conversations with people. It's not that I was like some sort of strange hermit, but this tended to be on excursions. I didn't really do that on the ship. I didn't speak to a single soul on ship, and that was awesome. So what did I spend my time doing for 7 days? 4 of which were sea days. Well, some days I'd get up early to watch the sunrise. Other days I'd get up a bit later, but I was usually always up at around 9 o'clock. I spent a lot of time on deck 17, which did surprise me. Now that's the deck that is 1 level higher than the pool deck, and I spent most of it, facing out to sea. And it did surprise me how much I like just sitting in the sun, looking out at the almost endless horizon. There was plenty of space despite the ship being full. And I discovered the miracle of ordering cocktails without having to get up off my lounger. So I got addicted to bushwhackers. It was fantastic. It occasionally got loud with the music, but I was able to just filter it out. The only time I sat poolside was on a port day that I spent on ship. So actually there was about 5 sea days because I spent 1 port day on ship. And obviously when that happens, the ship is less congested, so I actually sat by the pool. When I wanted something quieter, I went to the Waterfront. This had nice sofas and cushions to sit on, again looking out to sea. The amount of times I'd find myself, laid out full length on one of those sofas reading a book. I mean, it was just heaven. This area also has the advantage of being shaded from the sun if that gets a bit intense, or also being shaded from the wind on a breezier day, or say in the evening. If I wanted to chill and be inside, I went to the observation lounge. Oh, don't get me started on the observation lounge. One of the reasons I booked the Norwegian Bliss was the observation lounge. Cool space, plenty of room, easy to relax. The only reason I didn't spend even more time in the observation lounge was because of how great I found sitting outside in the sun, and I was lucky with the weather. The observation lounge for me is about as happening as it gets before I start to feel uncomfortable. But I did enjoy sitting there in the evenings, reading a book, writing, or just listening to the various piano acts they had. It was perfect. The only concern I had with the observation lounge is how popular it was on the Mexico Riviera cruise when it was warm outside. I can't even begin to contemplate how popular the observation lounge would be, and of course that's really why it exists, when that ship cruises to Alaska and the cold air closes the pool and maybe makes the waterfront less appealing. So what was I doing in these 3 locations? Well, the usual refuges of the introvert: reading, writing, and undertaking a bit of thinking. I can't describe how great a mindful and introspective an experience my solo cruise on the Norwegian Bliss was. It's a massive ship, 4,000 people, yet my main takeaway from it was introspection and mindfulness. It was absolutely brilliant. I read 5 books in 7 days and made some significant life choices. That says a lot in itself, as many people associate cruising with drinking, bar crawls, loud entertainment. But my experience was of a classy hotel in which I could really relax, and it just happened to float. Until next time, you can support me by doing a few simple things. Like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and post a comment. Have you ever thought of doing a solo cruise, but what stops you? If you have done a solo cruise or would consider one, how would you spend your time? Until next time, let's continue to make life a story worth telling together.